I'm gonna call her, and we'll see what happens from there. I can probably put this up here, right? I can put this up. So let's call her. Oh, it's ringing. Okay. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So, you're the director of the of charity streaming?
Yeah, so I'm the director of the Out of the Darkness walks and charity streaming for AFSP.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if that's like,
it is pretty cool.
yeah, I'm sorry if that's like unprofessional, but that's really sick.
Yeah, no, oh, please. And I do not care about unprofessional, by the way. So,
Awesome.
yeah, you can curse away, you can, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Awesome. Um, so, I want to know, what, like, is there, like, a personal reason? Like, not, I don't want to get into, like, anything too personal, but, like, what got you into, like, the whole charity? If you don't mind me
Oh, well,
asking.
oh no, of course. And actually, it is actually very personal. So when I moved to New York City, I now live in California, but I lived in New York City for 15 years, and I moved
Okay.
there in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for a job, and I saw, and this is when Craigslist was actually still a place that you looked for a job. I was looking on Craigslist and I saw AFSP and I just said, I have to work there. I didn't even know it existed. And the reason why I said that was because I lost my best friend Robbie in the year 2000 to
Oh my
suicide.
gosh.
And so I saw that name of the foundation and just went, wait, what? This exists? I didn't know this exists. So yeah, so it started there. I took a couple of breaks, since then, but I've always come back because it's such a huge cause for me. Unfortunately, I've also lost a couple of cousins since then, and I have friends who have lost parents. And I actually struggled personally with postpartum depression, especially. And when my son was a few months old, I had thoughts of suicide, and I made it through. But so let's just say I am definitely very connected to the cause for sure.
Oh my gosh.
That definitely that keeps me going in this job too.
Mhm.
It's not obviously it's a nonprofit. It's not about the money.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it's all about the cause for me, and the amazing people like yourself. I mean, I absolutely love being the director of charity streaming. By the way, it's my absolute favorite part of my job. So
That's so
and
nice.
for reasons like this, like talking to
Mhm.
you.
It, like, I'm so sorry I had to go through that. I'm so sorry about all that.
Oh
Um,
no, thank you.
but yeah, for me, like, so I also personally struggled with this stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and I actually had someone from my high school. I think it was just at the beginning of COVID. Um, who was I want to say a junior at the time, and he also took his own life. Um, I I didn't know him personally, but like I've talked to him a few times, um, and just like the thought that like the kid that I've seen in school in the hallways every now and again, like the thought that someone's so like in close proximity to me,
Hmm.
like is gone now. That like was just like hard to like comprehend.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It,
and me personally in my sophomore year and of high school and somewhat of my freshman year of college, I struggled again. Um, and I was pretty pretty deep into it.
oh,
uh,
really?
yeah, and it was a dark time, I'd say. Um, and so that's why I'm very very adamant about all suicide prevention. I want to do everything I can to like spread awareness that it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to like get the help that you need. Uh,
Yes,
because if you don't get help, there's no saying what's gonna happen. If I hate to put it
exactly.
that way, but
Well, it's true. Yeah.
yeah,
And so you did get help, the help you needed.
I
And
did. Yes,
yeah, I'm so glad. That's great.
and
And
so now I'm like,
it's so important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No,
What were
no,
you
don't worry about that. Um,
saying?
so that's why I'm like super, super like in support of everything I can do to try and help this cause. And I found this. I was like, I found this charity. I was like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. and
Oh,
and then
great. Yeah.
I saw you guys were doing like the suicide prevention week like event, and I was like, you know what,
Oh,
perfect timing. So I
yeah,
hopped right on
right?
top of that. Um,
Yeah. No, yeah. So you mean the World Suicide Prevention Day like
yeah.
live event? That
Hmm.
one?
Yeah.
That was today? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. No, yeah. And perfect, and you're so right. Perfect day to do this. So
Yeah, I wanted to do it like whenever I could, and I was like, now is perfect time, I guess.
yeah, it's for sure. I mean, it really is. I mean, obviously, it shouldn't be just September, but
Yeah, of
it really
course.
does. But it's great that this cause actually does have its own week, its own day, its own month.
Hmm.
And it's a great opportunity to be able to to talk about it and to you know and it's nice that the stigma is starting to go away, but it's still there. The
Yeah.
stigma around suicide in particular, but also mental health, it's still there. And yet it's 2021, people.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I struggled myself, even working for AFSP. It was
Hmm.
hard for me to reach out to people. It seems to be a human thing to not to that your brain tells you, to not reach out. It's this how
Hmm.
the brain takes over.
Hmm.
And so it's like it's getting, even as someone who knows everything you should be doing, when you're actually in it, it's really hard, it's really hard to do, but once you do, you feel so much better. So,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so do you want me to talk about AFSP, or do you want me to, I mean, do you have more
Uh,
questions?
I would love you to. I had a list. Don't know where it went. Um,
Oh no.
I had it written down somewhere, but I just don't know where it is. But yeah,
I hate it when the list leaves.
right. But if you,
The list just walks up and goes away. I hate
I
that.
swear it had to have. There's no way I lost it.
Yeah.
But if you could, I would love you to talk about AFSP.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, and also I could talk about like where the money goes and things like that too.
Of course.
So the mission of AFSP is to save lives and bring hope to those affected by suicide,
Hmm.
and that is everyone who's affected by suicide. So, we fund that mission by funding research, and we're actually the largest nonprofit that funds suicide prevention specifically.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, a lot of people don't know that, so I always like to throw that in. We also fund advocacy, so on the federal level, but also the local, state level as well. And we actually were a huge part of bringing the 988 number to fruition. And I don't know if you know what that is, but the 988 number is basically the suicide prevention lifeline, but now in three numbers. So like 911, it's going to be 988 to make it easier for people who are in crisis to call.
Oh,
And that's going to be ready in 2022. So we're very excited about that because we are a huge part of making that happen.
that's amazing.
Yeah, we're very proud about that. Yeah. Sorry, I keep coughing. And then, of course, we fund and we create educational programs. And, I thought of our programs when you said we were talking about high school and college, because we now have a teen, specifically for teens, mental health and suicide program that we can take to high schools. And it's for students, teachers, and parents. And then there's also one for college as well. So that made me think of it when you're telling me about your story and the importance of bringing it to youth and
Hmm.
the importance of, talking about suicide and mental health with youth and all of that. So, and then on top of that, there's a lot of other educational programs. There's just our basic Talk Saves Lives program, and There's even a program for LGBTQ. There's a program for medical professionals. I mean, we just really are trying to get as many different ones out there. We even have a new one that is for people who um, are a loved one of someone with a mental health condition or lived experience. And we say lived experience usually when there's someone who has attempted
Hmm.
as well. That is part of the lived experience uh, area. And we have a brand new program where it talks to the people who, live with and love those people, to give them support, to give them resources, to give them, answer questions they have on what to do, what to say, how to react to a certain situation, while at the
Hmm.
same time realizing that they are not alone in being someone who is, you know, supporting a person with lived experience. So that is a brand new program that I think is going to do extremely well. And then on top of that, we have loss and healing that we fund. And a lot of people don't know this either, that we have programs for those who have lost a loved one to suicide.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, yeah. So that's part of the everyone affected by suicide. Our mission includes everyone who has lost someone and knowing the importance of supporting those who have lost someone. So that's also where the funding goes.
This is amazing stuff, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Well, I'm saying thanks on behalf of AFSP. I didn't do
Yeah,
all of that,
yeah.
obviously.
Um, actually, one of viewers, Artsy, has a question. How long has the AFSP been around for?
Since 1987.
1987, really?
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? And it did actually start as just a research foundation. So that's why we are still like the top, we pride ourselves in being the top research foundation in suicide prevention because it started as that. And
Okay.
then yeah, and I would say maybe for the first 8 to 10 years, that's really what the focus was. And then after that is when it started to gradually become more and more. And then it was gradual, and then it just became huge. We grew
Mhm.
really, really fast, which is good. It's good. So
That's really good,
um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, 1987. What? I bet you weren't even born yet.
Nope, not for a while.
Yeah, yeah. When were you born? I'm just curious.
2002.
Oh my gosh.
So a bit after, a bit before me, yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I graduated high school in '94, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm 45, and I have a 10-year-old son.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I had a feeling you were born in the 2000s. I
Oh,
kind of got
2000s
that.
type vibe.
Yeah, I did. I got the vibe. No.
I respect that. I feel that. Um, what? Oh, come on. I know I have a. Where? Okay. Like, this is, like, genuinely not cool. Like, I had a list. I had it in my head and on paper. And it's just, okay, I'm just blank. Like, okay. I thought of it. I thought of questions, and then I called you, and I was like, well, it's all gone now. I forgot everything.
Oh,
Like,
it's
put
just
on the
like when
spot.
you like have it. It's when you have a speech and you have it. You think you have it memorized, and you get on
Yeah,
stage. Yeah, and you completely
exactly.
forget it. Yeah. Or you thought you studied for a test, and you're
Right?
like, you look at the page and go, I have no idea. Yeah.
Exactly. Um,
Yeah. I mean, or if chat has any more questions, I can. And it
um,
doesn't have to be about. Just so you know, too,
mhm,
everybody, it doesn't have to be about like what we do necessarily. It can be, obviously,
mhm,
but it can also be if you have any specific questions about, how to talk to someone who's struggling, or, or if you have any even more personal questions about what I went through, or what,
mhm.
or anything like that, feel free. I am an open book, by the way.
Um, I personally have a question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if like this is kind of like a science question, so I'm not really too sure
Oh,
if like,
oh,
uh,
I may not know. I'll
um,
try. I'll try.
so like, what's the science behind like, uh, having like these kind of thoughts? Is it like a chemical imbalance, or is it just like is it?
Yes, it usually is. And so like serotonin levels, you hear a lot about that,
Mhm,
being low or being too high. And just like you said, like just being off balance. So
mhm.
it's usually hormones. Hormones really do regulate and run our bodies. The
Okay.
importance of hormones is just amazing. And the same goes with our brain. The hormones go to our brain, and it's certain parts of our brain that it regulates. And if it's low, then certain like depression happens, and in certain other areas when it's high, and anxiety happens, and all of these things. And then obviously there's also bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, and other different mental health conditions that happen as well. But most of it really is based on uh, you know, hormone levels and cortisol levels and stress levels. And I mean, it's really everything about the body.
Mhm,
And that's where the medication part comes in. So that's why certain medications really can help someone
mhm.
when they realize that for them, it really is about the being off balance in the brain. Now that
Oh.
being now that being said, suicide is extremely complicated. There's not one reason why someone will take their own life.
Mhm,
So if someone is struggling with depression, and this is why also talk therapy is huge as well. And it's not just about a hormonal imbalance, for instance.
yeah.
It's more there's more to it than that, which I'm sure the
Mhm.
importance of talk therapy and talking it out and getting it out. And we all know how horrible it is when we hold something in,
Absolutely.
and that's horrible for everybody, no
Mhm.
matter what, right? Whether you're struggling, with a mental health condition or not, holding anything in is just so horrible for our mental, emotional, and even physical selves. So suicide, though, 90% of those who have died by suicide did have a underlying mental health condition. But that
Oh.
is but that isn't the reason why they took their own life. It's usually what is happening is that it's a mental health condition that isn't being treated, because there are plenty of people in this world with mental health conditions that are being treated who are fine, and
Mhm,
they will be fine and live their life, and they will not die by suicide just because they have a mental health condition. So with suicide, it's usually because of outside factors, and what I like to say, and so do the scientists, I guess, psychiatrists, stressors in our lives that are also not being dealt with. So if
mhm,
you, for instance, are struggling with depression, and actually, I can use my experience as an example. So having postpartum depression was at the base, basically, and wasn't being treated. I wasn't
mhm.
seeking help. I wasn't telling anybody how I was feeling. And then on top of that, I'm not getting any sleep. On top of that, I'm having, a horrible relationship with my husband. On top of that, he's cheating on me and lying about it. And, I mean, so my point being, there's all those stressors on top that I'm not dealing with.
Mhm.
And then it becomes so heavy, and I'm not telling anyone about it, and I'm holding it all in. And then that's when the suicidal thoughts start, because none of that is being dealt with at all. So
Yeah.
that is how that kind of starts to happen. And a lot of people like to use the term like snowballing, because then as someone who's having those thoughts, then your brain starts to lie to you, and your brain then starts to like actually kind of just live inside the snowballing of all these stressors that are happening in your life, and you're not getting any help.
Mhm.
So, and then you just kind of feel out of control, right? I mean, that's to me, that's kind of the best way to explain.
Yeah.
I hope that made sense.
Of
But
course.
yeah, but it really, and that's why too, everyone is so worried about what was happening during COVID, because COVID is obviously a very good example as well. We we did talk about mental health a lot more, which is great, but it's because people for the first time were struggling with anxiety, were struggling with loss of funds and a job, and losing loved ones and loved ones being sick in the hospital and all of these stressors on top of stressor on top of stressor that is not, no one is giving any relief to.
Mm.
And so if someone who is dealing with all of that on top of it does have some kind of underlying mental health condition that isn't being treated, then that really is going to cause a lot of problems for people if they can't get help and they don't reach out for help. So I think it was really great that during COVID we were talking about mental health, because I actually think more people reached out than they would have otherwise if it wasn't being discussed the way it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, yeah. So I hope that answered a little bit. That wasn't like total science. I don't know everything. Like
No, that's
I don't know
perfect.
everything about the science, but I.
Yeah, of course. Thank
And we
you.
do. We have funded studies of, and to me, it's super fascinating whether I like understand it or not. But we have funded studies that are actually on actual brains and of scientists actually going into the brains of those who have died by suicide, and just to see if they can find anything different. And I find it really fascinating. But
Oh.
anyway, yeah. So, so we really do fund like every single aspect of it. We fund the total scientific side, and then we also fund like the psychological research side of things too. So we do fund every aspect of it.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, that's really cool, actually. Um, so I hate to like keep like bombarding you with questions, but
No, that's what I'm here for. It's
alright,
fine.
perfect. Um, so Starlight asks, how much gets donated per year?
How much is donated per year? Like how much
Yes.
do we raise per year?
Yes.
And through charity streams or like all together?
Um, I'd probably say altogether.
Okay. Yeah, well, last year, because of COVID,
Mhm.
it went down significantly.
Oh,
So, well, and it's because, I mentioned I'm the director of the walks. Well, all the
mm,
walks went virtual,
that's
and
fair.
yeah, and our walks are very much about people connecting in person.
Mhm.
Our community is just amazing, and it's all about seeing each other physically and giving hugs to strangers and really walking together. And it is really that camaraderie and community that we have. So when that can't happen, I think a lot of people didn't really want to do it.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, like I said, people losing jobs and things like that. Just I think people donated whenever they could, but you can't always donate all the time, right?
Yeah.
So when you're struggling like that. So anyway, so last year, I think the total was around maybe 20 million. But in years before that, it was more like 35 million.
Oh,
So,
so it's a big dip. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Our community walks raise the most money out of all of our fundraising events that we do. And so when that takes a big dip, like everything takes a big dip,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah, but we're hopefully, fingers crossed, that next year everything will be, quote unquote normal. So
Yeah. Normal as it can
yeah,
be.
yeah, exactly. And we also do campus walks, by the way, speaking once again of high school and college. We do
Okay.
walk, yeah, we do walks on college and high school campuses all across the country every spring.
That's so nice.
Yeah, yeah. So if anyone's interested, or if anyone out there is still, is in college and wants to have a walk at your college, let me know.
I may have to message you after the stream then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Um, so Jason asks, how should one help someone who's going through a rough time?
Good question. Yeah, I would. Now, if you're able to be with that person in person,
Hmm.
I would definitely try to figure out a time to just meet up with them and to just have an honest conversation with them, and even just to meet up with them to just say in a text, say, hey, you know, I'm worried about you. I'm noticing that maybe, things are a little, different, or you're acting differently. I'm noticing some changes. You can actually name it. You can say, I'm noticing some changes in your mood, or and if you think that the person, because obviously just follow your gut in terms of what to say to this person exactly, because we all know our friends and relatives and loved ones really well, right? We know the best way to talk to them where they won't shut down and get defensive or anything.
Yeah.
But if you say it, in a way that's just like, hey, why don't we meet up? Why don't we just like, go for a walk, or why don't we meet for, coffee or whatever? And just so everyone knows too, it's totally okay to ask someone if they are thinking about hurting themselves. You can even say, are you thinking about suicide? And it does not put it in their minds at all. It actually gets the person to open up and actually talk about it. And then after that, you can lead into, well, hey, what can we do? Um, what's going on in your life? Is there something going on in your life that I can maybe help you with? Or what can we do to help you? And hey, I can, like, you want to look for a therapist together, or is there someone else you trust that you could talk to? And are I mean, I'm just throwing everything out there.
Yeah.
but uh, but it really is about just getting the person to open up. And then if a person does say that they're thinking about suicide, you could say, I'm so sorry you're going through this right now. And then and you could say, this must be really tough for you to admit and to talk about, but thank you for trusting me. And we are going to do this together, and um, I'll help you through it. And then always send anyone you're really, really worried about, send them the crisis text line. That's text talk to 741-741. Or there's the hotline, which is 1-800-273-TALK. I always tell people they should have those in their phone. So if everyone wants to add that in their phone.
That'd be a
um,
good idea.
yeah, and I would always just send that. And also know that if you are worried about someone, you can also use those numbers. So don't think it's just for people who are struggling and who are in a crisis. If you really need help and advice, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to, like, go to afsp.org and look up resources, or how to talk to someone,
Yeah.
you can text the crisis text line and say, I'm really worried about someone. What should I do? And they actually do help you. And you can call the hotline too if you want to talk to a real person, um, on the phone. But they really will help you, and they will also, if you give them their number, they will actually also call that person for you. That can happen as well, and they will call 911 for people as well if you say that they're in a crisis and I don't know what to do, and they'll be like, you want me to call 911? They will do that as well.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I did
And
not
they
know
they
that.
can they can even call at least the hotline, I believe. I'm not sure about the crisis text line, but the hotline can definitely even call the police department, and based knowing the number and where to go and things like that. So then you're kind of like, not being the one that's doing it, but yet that something needs to happen, and that person, if you really feel that they're in a crisis right then and there,
Hmm.
especially, don't be afraid to act on it. It's really, really scary to do, and I completely understand it. And I know that we are all worried about how that person's going to react down the road, and they're going to hate me for this and that kind of thing. Well, they may be mad at you for a little while, but they'll get over it.
Yeah.
It's better that they're alive and mad at you, and
Yeah.
than the other way around. So,
There's
um,
this one quote. I think it was by a streamer Tyler One. That was something along the lines of like, uh, reach out to them and do whatever you can for them and let them hate you because at least they're here to hate you. If that makes
yes,
sense.
yes, I love that. That's actually a really great way to put it, because I'm
Mhm.
like, I like they're here to hate you instead
Yeah.
of, well, they're alive and hating you. That
Yeah.
sounds so like, kind of like morbid in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I love that. Actually, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm probably going to use that now. So thanks.
Um,
Yeah, I hope that answered the question.
yeah, of
Sorry.
course. Yeah, thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Artsy says, what is a typical day for you working like with this charity?
Oh my gosh.
Loaded
Well, right
question.
now, yeah, well, just it's so right now it is so busy because it is World Suicide Prevention Day today, and it's been Suicide Prevention Week, and also this weekend is the first weekend of our community walks.
Oh.
So yeah, so leading up to this weekend is always just nonstop working.
Hmm.
And I do work from home. I live in California. I live in the Bay Area. I grew up here. Um, and I've been working because most of my team is on the East Coast. So I've been working 6 a.m. till, and right now it's 6 p.m.,
Oh,
here.
wow.
And yeah, so that's kind of my normal day when it's this busy. But it's not like that every day. So that is a typical day right now, and it will be probably for the next couple of weeks, few weeks, up until, once September's over is when it kind of starts to feel like a little calmer, because most of the walks have happened.
Mhm.
But a regular typical day really is just planning, planning, planning. Like I'm planning for the campus walks now while also doing the community walks and um, you know, going on Tiltify and seeing who's creating a stream when it's not like a big event like this. I still
Mhm.
go in and see and say thank you and, do everything I can. That's a normal day too, to always just look at Tiltify and look at what's going on for
Oh,
streaming world.
that's so
Um,
nice.
yeah, of course. My favorite people are all of you people. The
Oh.
content creator, well, the content creator community is my favorite group of people. Don't tell the walks people, but but you all are. It's just fantastic of how much support and love there is. Even though I've heard about all the toxicity that's been happening,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, and that's a huge, huge bummer because everything I always see, when I go into a charity stream to say thank you, is how much love there is. So
Yeah.
um, it's such a bummer to hear that there's a lot of toxic stuff going on, and hopefully something will be done about that.
I really hope so.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean, is it? I'm just curious, and this is curious. I'm curious because we are actually um, planning on creating like programming specifically around content creators and
Okay.
streaming. And so I would love for you to tell me if you want to. You don't have to, obviously, but what is it that it is exactly happening? Is it bullying? Is it like trolling? Is it
So,
what's yeah.
so what happens from my experience at least is that people think that like their content, their way of doing things is the correct way. And so everyone who does it a different way is just like ruining their content. They're doing things completely wrong. And so essentially, if someone gives advice that didn't work for one person, that one person is going to go after them, being like, "This didn't work for me. Don't follow them. Like they're lying to you. They're setting you on the wrong path." Um,
Oh,
and a lot of people treat it as if it's a big competition. Um, Instead of working together, they're working against one another, and it's kind of dividing the whole streaming community.
yeah. What a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what happened to supporting each other, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in this together, people, right?
Like
Jeez.
I have a few friends I made off like Twitch and TikTok, and they're the best people ever. Um,
Yeah.
there's always like that one or two people that like are in your comments just like your content sucks. This is awful. It's
Oh,
like
jeez.
why?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah,
Yeah. There's like no reason for it, you know?
yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah.
It's
That's the thing. Because I hear that a lot where people have met best friends over Twitch,
yeah.
and things like you said. So there's that amazing side to it, and then there's that other side.
Yeah, some people are amazing. Like, some people that like I am friends with, like I chat with them like on a daily basis, and it's like I'm so honored to know this person. And there's
Yeah.
other people that are like, I hate you. Your content's awful. Don't watch this person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's terrible. Yeah, and that whole thing of using energy for something negative like that, and I mean
yeah,
it's not good on the person doing it either when you think about it.
yeah.
You know, like I always try to tell my son, the bully is actually a bully because there's something going on
Hmm.
with that person. They're actually hurting, and that's why they're a bully, and they need to get help. That I
Yeah.
always like to tell my son that because he'll be like, "Why is this person done?" I'll be like, "Well, let me tell you." Not that I totally know, but that's usually the case.
Yeah. They're using like this bullying as like an outlet for their like personal problems, I guess.
Yes, no, exactly. That's what it is. And because they aren't getting help and they're not coping, so that's their coping mechanism. What's
Hmm.
happening to them? So anyway, I'm sure these horrible people out there, that's kind of the same idea, like,
Yeah.
and like trolls out there on social media and stuff,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like,
Oh, we got plenty of them.
oh my gosh. I kind of don't want my son to ever be on social media.
I wouldn't blame you.
I kind of want to go backwards and have a rotary phone.
It's like that's all.
Like my
That's all you get.
Yeah, my grandma's phone. Yeah, I'll be like, here.
Go wild.
Yeah, exactly. Look at it and go, what do I do with this? I don't even know.
Um.
Anyway.
Um. So I do have more questions. I don't know if you like have to
Yeah.
go anytime though. Um.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I probably have like 10 to 15 more minutes.
Okay.
Is that
Awesome.
okay?
Yeah. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Oh, of
Um.
course.
So I scream into pails asks they ask
Sorry, I love
uh,
that.
I love that name too. Um. So the snowballing you talked about earlier.
Hmm.
Can snowballing cause desensitization towards your own emotions?
Yes, it can actually. It actually could even, and this is desensitizing, I guess, and as well. But it can be, and I don't know if anyone understands because this is how I was, where you actually start to like embrace the pain and you get comfortable with the pain and you invite it in instead
Mm,
of trying to fight it. And that's where like the snowballing, desensitizing is actually a really great word to it because you're not realizing what you really are doing to yourself and what your brain is doing to you and that you have to actually like fight your own brain for what
mm-hmm,
it's actually saying to you. You say these horrible things to yourself, and instead of fighting it you are actually just keep feeding it over and over and over again. And that's when it just gets really really scary. And that's one of I will say too, that's one of the kind of like the warning signs is when you really start to see someone, and to always take it seriously if someone really is talking down to themselves. Obviously if anyone's mentioning wanting to die,
mm-hmm.
take it seriously for sure. But
Yeah.
also if they're just starting to do a bunch of down talk to themselves, if people are just really while also showing other signs as well, just like change in mood, change in sleep patterns, change in substance use, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And obviously, like, you know, sleeping all the time. Suddenly, someone who would go out is no longer going out anymore and making excuses and, all that stuff. Um, so if you're starting to see that, like going with all those other things as well, especially is when it's like, okay, we really need to get like some help for you. And what is it that you're thinking? What is it that you're saying to yourself? Let's really, you know, try
Mm-hmm.
to figure this out. you know, luckily I totally, when it was happening to me, like I said, I worked for AFSP and I still wasn't, um, I wasn't getting support. That was the other thing too, when I said the stressors, I was completely by myself. I didn't have any family. Like I said, I had horrible things going on with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So I was completely alone. And that's the other part of it too.
Oh my gosh.
If you know that there's someone out there who's also totally alone, and once again, especially like during COVID stuff, if you know that they're alone, that they don't have family around, that they don't have a lot of friends around, definitely reach out to those people.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't live near them, but you know that what's going on, definitely try to reach out, because you never know what a text could do for someone, just by saying, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Just wanted to check on you. And hey, do you want to talk on the phone? I'm here to chat if you want to. And, things like that.
Very true.
Yeah, they go a long way. Because honestly, if someone did that to me when I was really, really struggling, it would have gone a long way for me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Like just a
yeah.
thought alone is like,
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then because I probably would have finally said, yeah, no, I'm not doing well. And I do need help. And I need you to help me. Will you help me? But I didn't have anybody ever saying that.
mm,
Um, I finally one day just said, okay, this is, I have to do something. And then I did find therapy and went into therapy. And then that completely changed everything. So, um, that was me doing it and just like fighting through it myself. But it went on way too long. It could have been stopped much, much earlier for myself
mm-hmm.
if someone reached out, or if I reached out much earlier. I should have just done that. But shoulda, coulda, woulda. But I don't want anyone to ever feel the way I did. So
I feel the
if you
same
were
way,
ever
yeah.
feeling that, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know that feeling. So I never want anyone to go through that. So please reach out if you're feeling
Mm-hmm.
that way ever. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yes, definitely.
Um, Starlight asks, what if they don't feel comfortable talking to a therapist because it's hard to talk about their feelings to someone they don't know?
Yeah. So you mean if someone refuses therapy,
Like, if it's like they don't, uh,
it's because they don't know the person?
yeah, like how can you talk to someone you don't really know about?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, they like going to therapy because it's someone who doesn't know them, and it's
Mm,
someone who is just a soundboard, who also has been trained to then ask you the questions to help you. They know which questions to ask, how to get you to open up. But it's because they don't know you, and um, they're just for the first time hearing everything. And so they're not going to put any kind of preconceived notions onto anything, and bring up any of your past, or act like, oh, well, I know you, so you should totally be getting through this. And
oh, I hate that.
or like, yeah, I know, yeah, or you've been through this before, you'll be okay, like.
Oh,
So the thing about a therapist is they're never going to say anything like that. And not that all of your friends and family will say something like that, but they aren't trained to know what is triggering and what actually will, they know what won't shut you down.
mm-hmm.
Where, I mean, as much as we love our friends and family, sometimes if you really are having a conversation with them that, goes beyond the initial, I'm struggling and I do need help, can you help me find it, and things like that, they're not going to really know what to say, in all honesty.
Yeah.
They may accidentally, it's always going to be by accident because these people care about you, but they may accidentally say something that will suddenly make you go, oh, no, I'm done. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the last thing you want or need, or for your friend or loved one. And also, like, just so you know, too, saying things to someone who is thinking of suicide or struggling, saying things to them like, you have so much to live for and it's selfish. It is not selfish at
Oh,
all.
I really don't
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, no. That's not a good one. But people do say it, and it's actually their way of saying you're not thinking of all the other people around you. When when people are actually thinking about suicide, they actually are thinking about the people around them and thinking that the people around them are better off. So
Mhm.
it's actually better to never say something.
Yeah, of course. Are you still there? I don't know if she's still there. Something broke. Something didn't break. Uh-oh. Oh,
Oh,
hello?
oh,
Hi.
are you there? Oh,
Yes.
hi.
Hi.
Sorry. Where
Welcome
did I
back.
cut off?
Um, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. I think my computer just like did like sleep mode. So
Oh,
sorry,
no worries.
because all of a sudden I'm like, he's not talking. So I don't know where it cut me off, but anyway.
No worries. They cut you off when you're talking about how you should never say you're not thinking
Oh,
about the people around you.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So and I said too, I hate the term. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem
Mm.
because say that to someone who's struggled with a mental illness their entire life, they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like, you have no clue what you're talking about. It's not a temporary, so that's always a bad one to
Mm-hmm.
say. And people say it though,
Yeah.
so anyway, a therapist will know, they just know how to talk to someone and really, and have them open up. Now, I will say though too, it can be hard to find like the right therapist for you because
Mm-hmm.
they're people too, right? And so sometimes it's like we just don't gel. I don't want to talk to this person. And
Yeah.
of course that could be exhausting too. And thank goodness for like virtual therapy because there are a lot of therapists out there now. And kind of thanks to COVID, most of them do it now. You can do virtual therapy. So if you move and you love your therapist, well, you can say, hey, can we still chat like on Zoom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's so much more of an option than it used to be, which is really great.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Whoa. Hold on. Yeah. Thank you so much. For everything, really. Um.
Yeah.
But that's all the questions I think I have.
Okay. Yeah.
Um. But yeah, thank you so much for coming out. Um.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for asking me.
Of
And
course.
I really appreciate it and appreciate you and what you're doing and everyone in your community. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And spreading awareness and hope and all of that. That's
thank you.
so great. And I love it. Everyone who's using the platform, to actually do good is just wonderful. So thank
Hmm.
you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm able to help like in like a bigger way than just myself. Because like
Yeah.
this like charity means like something big to me, and so
Yeah.
the fact that I'm able to help it and like in any way I can is just like really great to me, and the fact that I'm able to do it like and basically spread the word and have other people help as well is just I'm very happy I'm able to do that.
I'm so
Um,
glad. Yeah. Well, thank
um,
you again.
yeah, thank you so much for everything you do and for coming out tonight. Like people like we need more people like you in this world.
Oh, well, I would say the same about you. So, ditto.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm so honored that you said that. I appreciate that. And yeah, I love hearing that. So, it gave me chills. But yeah, the work I do, it's having conversations like this and just hopping into streams and doing this is how I'm reminded of why I love my job and why I don't want to leave AFSP ever. So
Hmm.
so thank you for that too.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I said too much, but for real. Um,
Yeah. I know, we can just say thank you all night long, right?
I'm here for it. All right.
Amazing rest of your night, and thank you again to everyone there and who participated and listened. And I appreciate all of you. And have a fantastic night.
All right. You too.
Thank you.
All right. Bye
Bye.
bye. Oh, she's so nice. She's so nice. She's so nice. Holy moly. Oh my goodness. Oh, she's so nice. Um, that was fun. That was cool. I'm so glad I got to talk to her. That was freaking cool. That was awesome. She's so sweet. So sweet. Wholesome AF, absolutely. Wholesome AF, dude. I'm so glad I got to meet her because like she's such a great person. Like what she does, not many people could do. Not many people can do. And she's putting like herself out there in like to do things to better the world. You know? And I'm glad that I got to meet her. And I'm glad that like I'm glad that I'm fundraising to help her and to help everything. Like to hear her story about her husband cheating on her and to hear about her husband like just like leaving her with the child and her having like the depression. That's so depressing. That's so sad. Like I feel hurt that she had to go through that. Like that hurts me. That's so sad. But I am so happy she got through it. I'm genuinely so happy. Um, like the fact that she's using that as like I guess fuel now to like help others is amazing. That's amazing. She's so sweet. Like she's been through the ringer, and she's still an amazing person. What I want to do now is I'm gonna take this money and donate it. I'm taking all this and donating it right here, right now. Alright. And check it, boyos. Wait for it. You already saw the number change up there. Wait for it to pop up down there somewhere. Do it. There it goes. $70.40. Let's go, baby girl. We got $144.30. Ladies and gentlemen. We just destroyed our goal right there. We crushed our goal. Not only crushed our goal, crushed every other goal we had. We beat every other campaign we have done. This is the most we've ever raised for a charity. At $144. That's incredible. It is quite honestly an honor to raise this much money for charity. It really is an honor to raise this much, because like this charity means a lot to me. This charity means something to me. Like this charity supports a cause that I personally was affected by, and so it's the fact that I'm able to support it, and the fact that I'm able to like help people who are going through what I went through, is amazing. The fact that I'm able to do this. Like, I don't want to be all sappy and stuff, but like, you know, I'm so glad that I'm able to do this. And you guys are tremendous helpers. I shouldn't call you guys helpers. You guys did more than work than I did. Like, all I did was play Minecraft. That is all I did. You guys are the ones who affected the game. You guys are the ones who donated. You guys are the ones that raised $144. Okay? Forget my $25 donation. You guys did this. You guys crushed our goal. Thank you guys. And you guys got a hype train today too. Y'all got a hype train today, bros.